So hi, I am Tish Hicks. I'm the master sensei of the VO Dojo in Los Angeles. And we are joined here by our amazing demo producers, Brittany Cox and Ryan Ricks from Next Level Voice Demos. Well, let me have Brittany and Ryan introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about how this Demo Listen Derby goes, and we'll get started.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks so much for taking a couple hours on Wednesday
It is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah, to be with us. Like Tish said, I'm Ryan, and this is my wife Brittany, and we are voiceover demo producers, and our company together is Next Level Voice Demos. We're located and based out of Los Angeles, and we've been producing demos for the past 7 years. We started doing it when we were living and working up in Seattle, and we were up there for 7 years, and then we've been in Los Angeles for the last 2 years, which has been really great.
Yeah, and I'm a full-time voiceover actor for the past 7 years, and repped here in Los Angeles and up in Seattle. And Ryan started in casting at a recording studio, and with our powers combined.
Yeah. So when we were in Seattle, when she was, she's been a voiceover actor the entire time. I've floated between different things. I started at a post-production house in Seattle doing music licensing, commercial branding, and voice casting, and then went freelance after 3.5 years there to write music for films. And then all of that experience pooled together into our demo production stuff that we started in Seattle, and now have been doing, and love doing here in Los Angeles. So we work with people all over the country. We work remotely with folks all over. So it's great. We're excited that you're all here.
Yeah, and hopefully we can, share some knowledge. I see people are from all over. North Carolina, Asheville. We're from Raleigh originally. Hopefully we can share some things and illuminate the demo process a little bit.
Yeah, give you something a little more concrete to move forward with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously those of you who have submitted demos have been through the process, and really making your demo is crossing a threshold into a next level of your work as a voiceover artist. And then we're always refining and revising and updating, and your demo is always a living, breathing document. And that first one changes everything, and then you build from here. So let's talk about how the Demo Listen Derby works. Like everything in anything in acting, everything that you get feedback on is subjective, right? But we love doing this event because it really does demystify what happens on the other end. Right? The opinions of us three may be subjective, but what the Demo Listen Derby is designed to do is give you a sense of what really happens and how your demo needs to serve, and then how it is listened to in various contexts. And Ryan will talk a little bit more about those different contexts. It's really cool to have Ryan here because he has been the guy who did this very thing. This gauntlet that we're going to run through here is exactly what he did to do his job. So we're going to do a couple of rounds here, and like a demolition derby, we're going to start with everybody, and we're going to listen down. We're going to take the first few seconds, the middle few seconds, and the last few seconds, and get a little sample. To get the first round is going to be getting your first impressions. And the things we're going to be looking for are, does it pop? Does it grab us? Does your voice cut through? Is there connection? Does it move me? Is it true? Likability. Do I want to spend more time with you when it's done? And in your inherent you-ness. Do I know you when it's done? And does it share what's uniquely you? So we'll narrow down from that a second round. And then we'll look at some of those. We're going to get to as many people as we can in the couple of hours that we have. And we do want to leave lots of time for questions too. So the middle impression, the second round, will be talking about things like production quality. Is it competitive? What's your range? How is the contrast in the piece? What is your versatility? What can I figure out that you can do in between here? And how are you hitting the energy? How is the energy levels showing a gamut of energies? And we'll talk about we'll take one or possibly two and take it through another round. And then we'll talk about who's listening and why. So that's sort of the overview of the gauntlet. We are here to support and inspire and illuminate you. So nothing that is shared here should be taken personally. We are known for being really straight up and also very nurturing. So we're not going to blow smoke, but we're not going to pull any punches either. So, know that that's our intention here. And also, just so no one gets nervous or feels like, I didn't make it. I'm going to be available for 15-minute consultations. Brittany and Ryan are available. So however this rolls, each of you can find time with us to talk about everything more. Okay, so there's no panic, nothing to panic about. And it really is powerful to see this in the whole context of how things fit together and where yours fits. Okay, let's see. Ryan, you want to take it from here? If there's any questions, we can take questions. But Ryan, if you have anything to add, Ryan and Brittany.
Yeah. I think just to kind of set the stage just a little bit more in terms of kind of what we're listening for doing this today is, obviously when a casting director or a potential client is looking to hire you for a job, they are listening to your demo and listening to it through the lens of whatever that specific project is. And so, a hypothetical example, if, an advertising agency comes to them and they're like, hey, we've got this commercial and we want a very mature sounding, authoritative, female voice. Great. So then that is going to be the filter that, this whole process that we're doing today gets fed through for that specific job. Obviously, we're not casting for a specific job today, but what we are listening for are these things that are on the gauntlet page, which really can be summed down into two very specific things. The first thing is, does your demo sound current? Does it sound like you are currently working in 2019? Mm-hmm. And also, do I know who you are as an artist and a performer after listening to your demo? Mm-hmm. That's really what it comes down to, because at the end of the day, what makes a demo a good demo is that it puts food on your table. It puts money in your pocket. Right. It books you work. That's really what it comes down to. And so, and these are the things that help with that. These are the things that are going to help you as a performer kind of stand out and cut through and give yourself the best chance of landing that job and booking that thing with your demo alone, so that you're able to do the things that you want to do, which is have this career in this wonderfully competitive and crazy fun world that is voiceover.
And so with kind of piggybacking off what Tish said about how, we do all this with love and it's just our opinion. If your demo is getting you work and the feedback we're giving doesn't resonate, then that's okay. If it's getting you the type of work that you want, then that's fantastic. We are coming from a LA market and a bigger market. And so that's what our ears are tuned towards. So I like to just let people know. So don't freak out.
yeah, exactly. And to that point, just before we dive in, that's the other thing, right? Is if your demo is working for you, it all depends on you. And all of this always comes back to you. It's not about us. It's not about getting that special sound or that whatever. Mm-hmm. This is all about you as a performer and making sure that your demo is an authentic reflection of all the quirks and all the funny and all the emotion that you are as an artist when you're behind that microphone. And so if you currently have a demo that you've had for like 5 years, you're in a smaller market and you're working consistently and that's what you love, then fantastic. Like that is working for you. It's resonating for your clients and you're finding the success that you want. However, if you are in that same situation, but you're looking to move to another tier in your career, if you're looking to attract bigger clients
or new clients
or in a bigger market, or if you are auditioning a lot or submitting your demo a lot and things aren't connecting, then the demo is
a good place
to look because there's something that in this process that we're going to be going through, there's something off in there that's a disconnect. Right. And so we're here to help and we're here to answer questions and we want to make sure that you get as much out of this as possible. Right. So please don't be shy. And again, like Tish said, if there's something we don't get to, if we breeze over something, we both are available for 15-minute consultations after the fact. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah.
So that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to do a mock casting session. And so the three of us are going to be the casting directors, and we're going to be listening down to your demos in real time, just as I was doing when I was at the casting house.
And what casting directors from all of the people that we talk to, this is how everyone listens to demos.
This is how it is. And so at least for the first round, because a very common situation in today's market is that for any one particular job, even for smaller local things, you may be sifting through hundreds of applicants because of the beauty of the internet. And so you've got 200 demos that you've got to pare down to your top 10 to submit to your client
by the end of the day.
And they need to be the 10 that reflect, obviously, your reputation gets tied to those 10, right? So you want to make sure that those demos are the absolute best representation of the talent that you have so that you look good to your client and they also get the best talent for the job.
Right.
And so very much like Tish said, the way that I was, kind of trained to do this and brought up to do this as efficiently as possible was we're going to listen to a few seconds at the beginning. We're going to skip ahead and listen to a few seconds in the middle and a few seconds at the end. And from that very quick, 10 seconds altogether, we're going to have a very instinctual response as to whether or not your demo resonates with us. And that's really what this first round is all about, is does your demo resonate with us in those few seconds to make us want to continue on and feel that you're a good fit for our mock job or whatever it is.
And it's Tinder, right?
Yes, exactly. And a small caveat. So we found out on Zoom, some of the audio to you guys might sound a little fuzzy or like it's coming through a radio. It probably doesn't sound that way coming from our computer. So if it sounds a little fuzzy, don't worry.
Don't worry.
It's just Zoom.
It's just the Zoom call. And we're going to see, maybe we can try and get a couple of the ones that we dig into as examples available at their full quality if they are a little fuzzy, so you can hear them
after the call.
That way as well.
And we'll have that provided for you guys.
So we can provide links to the clean takes too.
Yes.
So let me share my screen here.
Let's unshare here.
There we go. Okay, great. Let's share my screen here. Boom. Share computer sound. All right, so everybody should be seeing my little Finder window. Can everybody see this list? Just nod, thumbs up, something?
Yeah.
Okay, stellar, awesome. So we're gonna start in the commercial stuff because generally speaking, commercial is your bread and butter as a voiceover artist. This is where you have the best chance of making the most money. It's also the demo that's the most flexible out of all of them. If we were to put them in major categories, we would have, commercial, animation, video game, promo, and narration. And commercial is always the best place to start for this reason. And so for that reason, we're going to start with these. And we'll just work our way through and go from there. So let's start with Adam here. Here we go.
Attention campers, it's the Camp Old Navy Big Summer Sale. All swimwear. Notice anything different at McDonald's?
Exactly that.
To make sure you get exactly what you want. Hey, at use like cash.
Perfect. People.
Well, Bob, from up here, it looks like the log jam is occurring at.
Okay. For me, I would want to hear more from Adam.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of range in those couple of seconds, and I'd be curious to hear him do a custom audition based off of that demo.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yes, I agree.
You agree? Tish, what do you think?
I'd say yes, and then it sounds like it might need to be updated. I heard a lot of sound effects. I heard a lot of dialogues that might just need that it be updated, but the quality was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll throw him in our first round.
All right. Let's listen to April.
Here's a sandwich that beats anything from last night. Deli Creations hot sandwich melts from. There's more to you than weight. Know yourself with the Body Cardio Scale. You get the best mac and cheese. Stouffer's Classics.
For me, that presentation did not resonate with me. Anything? What about you?
I'm a maybe on this one.
And I'm a yes.
You're a yes.
So let's put her in the first round.
Okay, great. We'll put her through. And this might be a duplicate. Hold on.
Here's a sandwich.
All right. Yes. All right. Here we go. BB. Oh no.
Way to mess it up.
Paradise found, unspoiled rainforest, uncrowded. You aboard Spaceship Earth. Journey with us now. That really breaks my heart. To fine-tune every detail. The accurate.
Cool voice,
yeah.
Cool tone of voice. So maybe on that reason alone, I'd be like, I'd want to hear her audition. But as far as a demo is concerned, this is a no for me.
I would agree.
I agree, but definitely interesting quality.
Yeah,
yes.
Cool.
Or very specific.
Maybe we can revisit.
All right, Claude.
Introducing the brand new boldly readable in the Caribbean. No matter how busy life gets, I make sure to find ways. A reason, remember the gates.
Almost the same note. Vocal quality is interesting. However, as a demo, the demo does not work for me.
Yeah, it all felt the same to me.
Everything felt the same, so we'll leave that.
Very intriguing voice.
Yes,
right.
Love the voice.
Right.
You work hard for your money. Jack, lettuce, tomatoes, and Chipotle Cool Moisture Body Lotion. The ladies sure seem to dig it. Budweiser Select, the exception to the rule.
I like that.
Based on that last spot,
I'd say yes.
I would say yes. However, in terms of the whole demo, there's too many character moments, and it was very confusing.
Yeah.
In terms of the thing. So maybe in terms of the demo, it's a no for us today. But
right.
that last spot felt really current and felt really nice. Clayton, if you're on here, I would move that last spot to the opening of your demo.
For sure.
Just a fun
Tish,
tip
what
there.
did you think?
I thought yes.
You thought yes. Okay, well, we'll throw him through. All right, let's see.
Commercial voiceover demo of Kurt Mathai.
Okay, so this brings up a great point, and this is what would actually happen. If I heard that in a casting session, it's a definite no.
Right.
There are no
immediately.
There are no slates. Never, ever, ever.
And the quality wasn't good.
And the initial quality of that was
Click in
not
the middle
good.
and see if it's the...
Now, at Foot Action. Gorgeous trunk.
It's still a no for me.
Yeah.
The demo feels really unfocused. And clicking around in those few spots, I heard one word, and the rest was all sound design, which is a voice demo. So it's important that your voice is what is on display, not your sound design skills. Tish, what did you think?
Yeah, sound quality off and not clear. It sounded like the idea of what the voice can do rather than the truth of what the voice can do.
Agreed. And I think this might be another duplicate. Let's just make sure.
Commercial voice.
It is. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. Yes. Okay, super. Kurt.
Go from solo mode to social mode. Your neighbors are pretty cool.
We're only a nickel.
All over the world.
Cool. I'd want to hear more from Kurt. I thought there was enough range in there, but everything felt authentic and it felt current. There was nothing in there that distracted me from.
I agree. I'd be curious to hear more of if there's anything more genuine.
Yeah,
right.
that was my thing. Like, good. Is there anything more him?
Yeah. All right, we'll put him through. That's good.
Donna.
You pay your auto insurance premium every month. Dust in the air. Patient right here.
So this is a no for me for a lot of the same reasons we've talked about. Like, the performances feel very one note.
Feels homemade.
And the production value on it doesn't feel right. It's not what's expected coming out of a radio or a television. For me, it hits my ears as false. Tish, what did you think?
No, the pacing seemed like, the first thing I noticed was the pacing seemed like not calibrated.
Right. All right. Ed.
Red Rocks Amphitheater is one of the most incredible of 9/11. And find inspirational recipes, tips, how to in Chicago, Illinois. From behind, your heart beats faster. Hey, nice shoes. Clark Street and Grand Avenue.
Okay. So this is interesting for me. The demo is a no, just because I don't really know. I don't really get a sense of.
It just sounds like an announcer.
Yeah, like, and it doesn't feel personal.
Yeah.
And there were a few music things in there that did not feel on brand. Like, like the production felt weird. Again, if this was for a specific thing and I was listening for this, like, I might be like, oh, I'd want to hear an audition from Ed, because like the vocal tone is awesome.
Yeah.
But as far as a demo, like making a first impression and doing the heavy lifting for you, I'm not sure if this works as is.
What did you think, Tish?
What did you think, Tish?
I love the voice. I think it's all in there. I agree with the demo notes.
Yeah. So we'll just leave him there. Let's listen to James.
Introducing Ally. Hit me. A sharp. Consider the penny. Logo. We set out to engineer the best mid-sized luxury sedan in the world.
So to me, this hits, and I hope you guys are hearing this theme come up, is kind of like, it's like listening to a vinyl record versus listening to a crummy MP3 version of your favorite song. Like, the crummy MP3 version, yeah, like the information's there, but then when you listen on a great sound system and you listen to this vinyl record, the whole thing just pops. And there's this thing that it's this intangible thing that hits you and you're like, I believe this. And that is really what the demo is all about. That's what we mean when we're like, does it resonate? Like, do I believe this?
Right.
And with James, and this seems to be a recurring theme with, our group of people so far, is vocal quality, tone, cool. Like, and if I was after that specific thing, like James, I would want to hear an audition from James. But as a demo, it felt very kind of flat. It felt one note in terms of performance and production. and it did not feel like he was working in 2019. It did not hit my ears as
current.
Wow, this guy is doing the thing in 2019 for me. Tish, what did you think?
I really sat up and take notice on the last car one. That really grabbed me.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that too.
Although it does seem like it might be something from another, just that I think this is an interesting thing. And I just redid my demos with Brittany and Ryan because I've been doing this for a really long time. I'm really good, but there's it just might need an update and exploring other things. So
yeah,
right.
it just feels a little dated.
Right, and I think a lot of this job is being on top of and having an understanding of what is current and what is out there, as opposed to kind of having this. I don't know. The best metaphor I can think of is it's like if somebody asked you to draw a tree, and you it's a tree. There it is. It's a tree. Well, it's not actually what a tree looks like. That's just in your mind's eye. That's the symbol that we all associate with a tree. However, if you were actually to, take this and put it up against the current running commercials on, say, iSpot TV, or, find the commercials that, you're branding on your demo and hear what they're doing now and make an honest, true comparison, I feel like the differences would be immediately apparent in terms of both sound and performance.
James just said, "Yep, it's 6 years old." So good, excellent, cool.
Awesome. So let's move on to Jimmy. I think it's an I in there.
We the people of the modern rodeo. Those happy dogs, I just can't keep up. Bone marinara, sweet onion chicken, fast acting, non-prescription, powerful.
So for me, similar note, the performances feel, very flat. Production-wise, it doesn't hit my ear. Like I did not believe, or the demo didn't resonate with me as a current thing. Yeah. Vocal quality
is really interesting.
Is cool, but I think the performances and the production
just aren't quite there.
Aren't quite there. Tish, what did you think?
I think it's very interesting. I think it's very it's interesting. I think when you have a vocal print that is like an older voice or a more mature voice, to be able to find all of the colors of that too, and then also what is the market? What is the market for that? My dad's 73 and what he's not an old man. I actually said something. He's like, I'm not old. Who's old? What? So when you and I know, having met Jimmy, he's not old either. He's a very, very vibrant young spirit. So then how do you find the whole range of that vocally? This I have a feeling as a demo, if I needed that exact gruffy old thing, that would be interesting. But in general, as a demo, I would love to hear a little bit more range of all the things that could do something clear, or even if there's variations of the gruffy.
Right.
Yeah, it also kind of the same.
And that's really what it comes down to with these, especially with a commercial demo, is it's not your commercial demo, or any demo for that matter, it's not a resume. When we're talking about range, we're not looking for
all the spots that you've done over the years,
all these other things. What we're actually listening for is we're listening for this resonance. Do I believe you? Is it true? Yeah. You don't need to go like, oh my gosh, to whoa, like that's not what it is. It's not this extreme thing. Like if you have this very narrow window where you exist, fantastic. But let's take advantage of that window and let's see you in a heartwarming context. Let's see you in a more conversational kind of, like we're having this conversation between two friends vibe, or let's see you in a more intimate place, or a more snappy vibe. Like these things are.
Think of it more like intentions. Because we're voice acting, it's all about acting. So what different intentions do you have? Are you trying to comfort someone? Are you trying to be really excited about something and get someone hyped about it? You know, and that can help. And it's subtle, but it speaks volumes.
Right.
Cool.
So let's see.
Let's try Joel.
Joel.
Yeah.
Here in Maine, we make lots of things. Mower, the sweater that was shit. Wow, that sounds really weekend-y. Findallthe.com/free.
Go ahead.
I like this, but it feels dated to me. Like, I feel like it needs to be updated, but I think the performances felt good and real to me. Like, I feel like this is someone who is working, but it's just an old demo.
And I feel like I like the voice. It felt broadcastery to me.
Yes, I agree with that. But there's definitely there's a niche.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we put Joel through and just see how?
Yes, and see
in a different context, see how it stands out later.
Yes.
Okay. Let's listen to Larry.
Stand it up. All your life you can afford a broiled burger. You'll be ready to make it a habit. Taste.
That's really hyped.
So this is a no for me. Just the demo hits my ears and it feels false. It doesn't feel like that. The production quality and the performance were grounded in this market where we are now. And it did feel kind of
felt more promo to me. Like, it felt almost hyped wise. It felt kind of promo-y and not commercial.
Like it was going that way.
Yeah.
Like it was going more. It was this weird hybrid of. Maybe that's maybe the best way to put it is we're not sure what it was. I'm confused. So it's a pass for me.
And I just heard the production.
Right.
Yes, all I heard was production.
Very, very, like, the little snips of voice seemed interesting, but it was
too much.
I couldn't even hear it.
How long is this? Just curious. Okay. Well, all right. It's a good length. It's only 1:08 seconds.
The same thing?
I think that's the same thing. So let's listen to Larry Justice now.
When you've got best-in-class heart, you can have more unique gel.
So this is a no for me. For a lot of the same things we talked about, it doesn't feel current, and it feels
announcer.
Yeah, the performance is one note, and in terms of the overall production, it doesn't feel like it was produced at a studio. It doesn't feel like it came off of TV or radio. The impression is wrong.
And it doesn't. So a big note in the market today, and for those of you who are auditioning regularly, you notice on breakdowns, it's all conversational, real person, non-announcer. That's where we are as a market right now. And so for this, it just feels, he used to work. And it's not, there's nothing felt genuine to me.
Right.
Miss Tish.
Yeah, no, I agree that it sounded a little one note and a little announcery. Once again, if we're looking for that announcer, great. But in general that. Guys, Kevin Ivey, his thing didn't get in, so if we can scoot back to him, I just put it into the thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's listen right now.
Yeah.
We've always been a nation of builders, craftsmen. Where you need someone at your back. The powerful backing of American Black Ops.
Up fast. Time to get a fast phone. And right now at T-Mobile, get 2 Samsung Galaxy 4G.
Kevin's great.
Yeah, I say yes.
I say definitely.
That's a yes.
That's a yes for me. And why? I believed him from the first moment. Going through, I think there is an opportunity to stretch a bit more and to bring in some more conversational.
But there might be in it because we're going to listen through it. So
right, we're going to listen to it again. Yeah. However, I would definitely want to hear more from Kevin just after that quick first impression.
And it's amazing how that first impression really colors everything. Like I was having an emotional reaction. Like I could feel myself being like, oh yes.
Right. And that's something, very, something that everybody should consider here when you're listening through to your demo, listen through and which spots are authentically you. Which ones carry your signature, which ones carry your energy, which ones feel the most honest. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be something heartfelt. No. It could be a snappy, snarky T-Mobile spot. It could be,
mine's a casino.
It could be a more like sultry casino. It really doesn't matter. What matters is does it ring true? And those things are the things that you want to open with. Is you always want to start with the one that is super connected and that feels incredibly authentic and feels true. Because a lot of times that's all somebody's going to listen to. Like clicking through this multiple thing, like that does happen sometimes, but
especially if they like what they've heard at the beginning.
But they have to like what they've heard in the beginning to do it. Yeah. There are a lot of cases where, we click on the demos and it's like, nope, next. It's instantaneous. Yeah. And that's kind of just a reality of the world we're in. On Laura. We are on Laura. So let's keep moving.
There are two different kinds of moms that talk premium products to landmarks, to local life.
For me, it's a no, and it's a similar note to kind of what we've hit on a few other demos where it feels homemade, and it doesn't feel like
one note.
It feels one note in terms of performance. And it does not feel current. The music choices, the overall impression, doesn't feel like what comes out of my TV or comes out of my radio in 2019. Tish, what did you think?
The thing that caught my ear was that the quality of the voice really cuts through. Like, so that would be something that I would explore. It seemed a little, let's see. A little, I guess one note is the way to say it succinctly. Like, a little bit the same, and a little bit, what's the right word? Like having a layer of niceness put on it. Like, I'm not articulating that very clearly.
I think it just didn't feel connected, and it was like, here's what I think it should sound like.
Yes, I think that's
was the here's me doing my commercial read versus here's me
talking about something that I have an opinion about,
sharing something, and that really is where we are today, and that is something that is kind of sticks out like a sore thumb because things used to be a very different way. It used to be that there was this more presentational vibe about commercials. But nowadays, as soon as that vibe comes across, it's like, no, not that, next, move on kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. And so if you're getting those notes about your demo, then, that is easily something that we could look at and explore, that you could look at in terms of updating and performance styles so that you come across as more current and more connected about what is on trend now.
Absolutely.
And again,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, again, with the caveat, that Brittany and I said in the beginning, your demo is all about resonating with your version of success. So if your version of success is and this demo is working for you and is getting you the type of work and the amount of work that you want, then great. The demo is working for you. However, if you have this, and this is your first impression out there on sites like Voice123 or with your agent or just on your own, or you want to get an agent, then this would be something that you would want to look at in terms of updating and bringing more into the current marketplace.
Although I would say that having that cut through quality is gold, and then finding the genres where that is exactly what we're looking for, in doing IVR, and here we're doing this, or maybe an e-learning setting where that and in general, and then how to calibrate that cut through into relaxed in you as well. But that I find that very valuable, the cut through quality.
For sure.
Very good.
Lori.
Lori.
We didn't break the mold. Liberty Mutual Insurance. About it. Rest up. You're about to. It's proud to be old-fashioned. Craft barbecue.
I want to hear more from her. I'm curious. I like the voice, and I think there's. I'm curious if there's something more conversational in there.
Okay. For me, it's a no, just because I felt that everything felt surface level to me. And I know it might be hard for you guys to hear in terms of the production quality. But again, it had this homemade feel to it, instead of feeling like the whole impression as it hit your ears. It didn't feel right to me. Tish, what did you think?
I really liked particularly the cheese one, so I would put her in the yes or maybe.
Put her in the yes, yeah.
Okay. Mark.
Call it good fortune or call it
Exact same note for me is the impression that comes out of the speaker is it's off. That the music choice,
just feels 10 years ago.
The vibe of the whole thing, it just feels really off. And so for me, and this is a great example, like for me, I'm like, I don't really care to listen to more. Even if you've got something great down there, it's important that first few seconds is so connected and is so authentic and is so current, so that people want to listen to more.
Because again, it's not a resume. Like, this feels to me like he might have done this spot 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, but that doesn't tell me where he fits in this current market right now, and that he's still working.
Right. And I think that's the most important thing, is that this is not a resume. It doesn't really matter whether you have booked everything on your demo, or if you've worked with a demo producer or whatever. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the result. All that matters is the feeling and what resonates and how it works. Like, that's what matters. And that should always be kind of your guiding light in making decisions about, is this on brand for me? Maybe something that you used to do really well that's no longer on trend. Maybe you just remove that off of your demo and feature things that are more, on brand now. And so that's really the way, that we encourage people to think about their demos. Is it's not, well, I've done all these things, look how great I am. It's like, okay, you are great. However, that's not what this is. This is about presenting you in today's market. Where do you fit for me as an agent? Where do you fit for me as a casting director now? What can you book? Are these clients still on brand for you? Are these clients even still in existence? Do they even market this way? I think that's a big thing too, is a giveaway a lot of times is you hear spots that feel like they don't, like that client would never advertise on TV or the radio.
I think that song choice immediately did it.
And that song, and the music choice there was immediately off-putting for me. So
moving on to
I agree. I think we can move on, and I think if we can get through the next few, like, I'd love to hit the 11 o'clock if we can.
Yes, we
absolutely.
will. We will aim for that.
Watch, read, hatch, remembers the battlefield like never. Urban Street Chicken. We just like to say,
the end got better.
Oh, did you hear that? That was thunder. Wow.
It's a maybe for me. The second half, there were some things in there I was like, okay.
For me, it's a no. Yeah. Because I heard more sound design and more production than I did the voice. And so it didn't feel, I have no idea who Mike is as a performer. All I remember is, wow, that's loud, and I just hear a lot of sound design.
Was that a video game thing?
Yeah, I don't really know. So for me, it's a no.
What do you think, Tish?
And I'd say maybe, because those stuff, like for the quality of voice that he has, I heard things that it works for. You know what I mean? Like an older, warm, authoritative, warmly authoritative.
So we'll put him in the revisit. So, are you listening to Mark?
We might have. Listen to Mark. Okay. Mark.
Start feeling good again. Just for men, mustache is the time to change. More top performing appliances than any other
It's a no for me. The way that it hits my ears is that it doesn't feel connected. The performances feel kind of surface level, and the music choice and the overall organization of the demo feels really scattered and not current.
To me, it feels like this is a person who does a lot of corporate narration, but doesn't do commercials, which is a big difference.
Tish, what did you think?
Yeah, a little bit in that same, like it. Oh, 1 second, I'm going to sneeze. So it seems a little general.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Rebecca.
What is iPad? Or wrong way? 2. Because love. REI. Automatic numbering drives me. Get outside yourself. Bud Light is made from 4 simple. Hey, we know you're busy and.
For me, that's a no, because I know all these clients and their branding, and this branding is wrong for what their current commercials and kind of the vibe that all these brands put off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right.
I would agree. For me, it doesn't feel true. It doesn't feel authentic.
I really liked it. I really liked it. I thought that there was a lot that was like really like, oh, that's cool and that's different. Like, and then I was really interested at the end, because then it got really different. And then the character thing was like, wow, and she can do that.
And so, again, the thing about the subjective demo listening, what are you listening for? And
right. And so in a specific context, Rebecca might be a great choice to call in for an audition because people want to hear more. Or if they hear the vibe that they like on the demo, then, she gets the phone call or the email for that specific job.
Right.
In Brittany and I's opinion, as a demo, the branding and the overall presentation of the demo is not there.
Well, I would love to hear it again, like to put it in that next round so that we could go through, like, okay, what is the process then? How do we hear through? How do we hear through that gauntlet, right?
Very good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, here's Sarah.
Are we good? So you may know that one day his smeller app can. It's called Shirley's Treat.
For me, for a lot of kind of similar to what we've hit in this kind of area before, the overall quality of the demo feels it doesn't hit your ears right, and the
it's very one note.
Performances and kind of the whole approach to the demo is very one note. And just something that we've kind of heard on these on a few of them throughout, thankfully not a ton. You really want to be careful about charactery commercial stuff. That used to be kind of a thing.
And for certain people,
for certain people, it might be a good fit for you if it's something that you like book a lot and you want to showcase that. But as far as like general
character voice,
as far as having charactery voices on your commercial demo, as a general,
you don't need it.
Thing.
You don't need it.
Avoid it. Because it's confusing, and also it lends to that, like, oh, it's fake, like, and which is what we don't want. Commercial, we want authentic, we want real, and we want you and your full personality. We don't want you to put on a voice. We don't want you to sell to us. We want you to converse with us.
Right.
That's where we are in 2019. That's the goal. Did you hear anything you wanted to mention, Tish, on that one?
Well, I think once it. Oops, apparently I'm a very busy person. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, guys. Again, I think similarly to Jimmy's, but actually it's a little bit different than Jimmy's, because Jimmy's was like kind of just blurry in general. This has specifics, and I could hear the choices. I think it could be refined and defined even more.
I agree.
And again, if I'm looking for this quality of this person with this amount of life experience, it would probably be in the realm, but.
Well, and this is also one of those things I feel like where it's your demo is never listened to on its own. It's being compared to everyone else's. And so if we had just listened to Sarah's on its own, it might be okay. But compared to some of the other ones we've heard, it doesn't hold up.
Right. And that's a really important thing to remember, is that your demo is never listened to in a box. You put so much work into this thing, and you invest money in doing it, you invest time, you invest all of this. But the most important thing for you to remember is that the people who are going to be hiring you for your work are out in the world. Like, they don't know you personally, oftentimes. And they are simply working off of impressions, off of instinct, and in the context of everything else they've worked on. So their client roster might have, some of the top bookers, in the industry for particular clients, and your demo needs to be right up in that conversation in terms of the overall sound and impression and performances that you're bringing, in order for you to in order for you to be in the conversation in that way. So it's really important to remember that your demo is never listened to in a vacuum.
Listen
to this, Sarah.
Blushes that glow. Driven to go right now. Just cut medical care. Baby.
Okay, same note as before. Like the quality of the overall demo, it doesn't ring true in terms of how commercials sound today.
It's dated.
It feels
dated.
It feels dated, for lack of a nicer term. Tish, what did you think?
I think Sarah also has a voice that super cuts through.
Absolutely.
I was interested in the singing always catches my ear. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. And once again, in the context of hearing the others, it sounds like there could be more calibration in terms of having a big instrument to allowing the nuances of this commercial medium.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see, Steve.
It's not just a car. It's a hobby into a real business. At Incorporated. Get started at Donate at Doctors Without Borders. Thing is all natural, not fresh. It's not legal.
So I was with you in the when we hit the first thing. I was with you. I was like, yeah, let's hear more from Steve. And then unfortunately, as we clicked through, I started hearing I heard doctor, I heard these things, and I'm like, that's not right for Steve. That's not where he would be. And I didn't quite understand. You set up an expectation for me and then betrayed my expectation, which happens all the time. And this is one of the most frustrating things ever in the process, but it is a real thing to talk about. That's another aspect of this whole thing, is when you come out of the gate with something, you're establishing an expectation. Yeah. And if you betray that expectation, you're done. So
you're saying it started out Steve and then it got less Steve.
Exactly. Steve, I heard that and I was like, okay, great. That cool. And then it had the right feeling. It didn't feel, it felt a little pushed, and the production felt a little too
strong,
too thick. However, I was like, okay, cool. Let's keep going. And then as soon as the more we kept going, it kind of just went down for me. And I felt like Steve is better than the middle and end of that demo.
I definitely agree with that. And I felt like I was fighting to hear the voice through all the production. It felt, especially towards after the first one, I was paying more attention to the production than the voice.
Right.
And trying to figure out what he actually sounds like.
Anything to add, Tish, on that one?
I think you guys have said the things. I like the voice. It sounds good. It sounds really professional.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. It's just
quality.
I feel like
production let you down on that
Steve, you're better than that.
Flock to Florida, hang 10 and with ingenuity. It's a delicious had a heart attack. She does yoga and uses Wicked app. It's time.
I kind of I like, there are things in there I'm like, okay, I think, especially towards the middle end, there were things that kind of caught my ear, like if I liked, and I'd be curious to hear more. It did feel a little dated, but I liked the voice enough to get through it. There was something about it that just caught me.
Okay. Tish, what did you think?
I think so too. Like, it sounds very specific. Like from this, I wouldn't be expecting a big flannel shirt sort of
for sure
person, but for the person who there's a warmth and encompassingness to it that had sort of specifics to it. So
I mean, for me, and I know this is hard for you guys to hear over the Zoom call, for me it's a no
because of production,
because the sound impression feels false to me. Like I could, if I were to play that demo and then go on and then choose a similar voice talent who voiced any other commercial that's airing on TV right now and put them up against each other, it's not quite right. It's not quite right. It doesn't hold up to me. And so instantly for me, I didn't believe it. However, I do agree that the voice itself felt really specific and felt good.
Had some range.
And had some nice nuance throughout in terms of performance. But I don't think the overall demo itself necessarily supports in the way that it should be.
WC.
Do you smell that? What do you this welcome feeling? Nothing like, oh, there's no other you. I approve of the way this has gone.
That was very off-putting for me and just distracted me.
Yeah, for me, it feels really scattered, and it kind of falls into that character-y vibe.
It would have been a strong opening for a animation demo. Do you smell that animation demo? Absolutely.
Right. Commercial, not so much.
And then I don't know who as a commercial actor you would be.
Right. So for me, it's a no. Sounds like for you, it's a no. Tish, for you?
I'm going to abstain because this is someone that I know.
Okay. That's fair.
And then
but that being said, I do like, okay, so I'm not going to abstain because I do think, like, knowing this person, that it does grab their sense of humor. I think the character stuff probably throws it into another realm that doesn't serve. Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So last one here, and we'll be on track. Let's see.
Gothica. Buy it Tuesday on DVD and Blu-ray.
Not a commercial spot.
A click through though. I'm curious to hear what else.
I figured engineers who built the all new.
So that's not a commercial demo. That is.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. It sounded fine, like in terms of the overall quality and kind of the vibe of it was in the ballpark ish. But the first spot was clearly promo, which the commercial
and it wasn't quite there for me.
Right.
I didn't. Yeah.
However, just in terms of the type of copy, like that stuff is very promo.
Yeah.
Like buy it on Blu-ray today or whatever it is. That's not a commercial copy. And then the very next thing we clicked through was a character.
Super character.
Which is also not where we are commercially today. Yeah. And so for those reasons,
and I don't know who this person is.
It was just very confusing. So it's a no.
I don't know who the person is as an individual.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. I think as a promo voice, it's very, very striking though. Like
and that's why I was like, I'm willing to listen more. I think there was it could have, the voice for promo is great. It just, the read was almost there. It just wasn't quite there. Anyway.
And I think that's an interesting I would almost split it and revisit, because I think that's an interesting thing, because I do think that a commercial demo should have something that is that higher that higher intensity or higher retail.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to explore what is the distinction.
Sure. Yeah. Throw it in the revisit.
Okay. And then, so
Tish, do you want us to go through the first rounders, or do we want to go to animation and narration, or just save that for the end? Because we only have like a few in each of those.
Well, why don't we go through this process and focus on commercial, because then the things that we'll be considering in the few other genres will shift gears in terms of what we're listening to and how we're listening to it. So let's complete this, and then make sure that we leave a little bit of time
like
and time for
20 minutes
too.
on this guy.
And then we'll say. Let's do this. So great. So, and that's a great point. In terms commercial, as far as the demos are concerned, commercial is it's the most accessible. However, it is also in a lot of ways the most difficult.
Yeah.
Because by contrast, an animation demo is all about extremes, and it is about your character, and it's about
all the crazy accents.
It's about the crazy and the voices and the comedy. That's what we are listening for in an animation demo. We want to know, from 0 funny to 1,000 funny, and hear this wide range of your ability in these different contexts, and your ability to paint a scene. And then with narration, same kind of rules apply in terms of kind of crafting this scene. Yeah. Narration, by contrast, obviously is much more fitted toward what we're talking about commercially. However, it features more long form copy, and narration is more of a marathon, whereas commercial is more of a sprint in terms of what we're trying to achieve. With narration, you want to feel that we could follow you on a long journey, and that there's these ebbs and flows to the way that you're crafting these stories. Whereas what we're listening for in the commercial stuff is very much like there's no frills. I think is kind of the best thing we could communicate here is.
For those of you who do theater or on-camera acting, I always think of it like a headshot. When I hear this, where would I put you? How can I cast you? Are you warm and friendly? Are you a real person? Are you an announcer? Where can I automatically put you? Just like in a headshot. When I see your headshot, are you the ingenue? Are you a leading man? Are you the bad guy? Like casting always thinks of it as typing.
Right.
And that with commercial, that's very important. And
that can really play into your favor as opposed to working against you, where you're like, oh, I don't know, whatever. If you spend the time to get specific, then that specificity can be showcased on your demo and help open doors for you, which is the whole point of this whole thing, is to open doors for you.
Right. Which is why we always recommend working with a demo producer who doesn't know you, because they have an outside view of when I hear your voice, oh, this is where you fit in this market right now, instead of, well, I know your whole backstory and I know you're a very nice person, so I'm going to give you nice copy, even though your voice might be kind of snarky and like full of sass and character. Right. So interesting thing to think about.
Yeah. And so with this next round,
we're going to listen longer.
We're going to listen for longer periods of time and see if we can't, pinpoint in on some more details.
And normally we'd probably listen the whole way through, but just for time's sake, we're just going to listen longer than we did before.
Yeah. And just to remind, I'm going to try and put this up so that in the chat to a Dropbox, but just to remember the first impressions we were listening for: does it pop? Does it cut through? Connection, likability, Eunice. And then I think the trend, the is it current is really one of the things that really was important. So, and production quality. So next round will be, I guess, figuring out how it all fits together. The production quality, competitive skills, range.
We know who you are.
Yeah, we know who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go.
Attention campers, it's the Camp Old Navy Big Summer Sale. All swimwear half off this Saturday only.
Home.
After all, I'm the guy who was savvy enough to pick UPS for the job. 8th floor people. I'll tell you, they're good guys, but they just don't understand how management works.
Drive through and we double check every order to make sure you get exactly what you want. Hey, at McDonald's,
My room.
I got it. A $199 MasterCard gift card you can use like cash.
Perfect. People like cash.
And livestock of some sort. To learn more, go to johnlangutah.com.
Wow, Bob, from up here, it looks like the log jam is occurring.
Okay. Upon a longer listen, I am confused. For me, like when I listen to that as like a full demo, I felt like I
didn't know where he would fit.
I had no idea how to cast Adam as a voice, and I don't know if everything on the demo is serving the goal that it should be serving in terms of, I get it that you having conversations, you were trying to get a more conversational vibe in the thing. But as a whole, like it just felt really, I was just very confused.
I think I love the Old Navy spot. That is it, and it's still current. Like that's still their branding, and that feels really. And I'm like, okay, so he's a young, hip guy. But then the UPS spot, I don't know what that was. And then the McDonald's spot didn't feel quite right. I don't know. I wish there had been. If you're opening with a big client like Old Navy, I expected to hear more high caliber commercials that I'm hearing today. And right. I was disappointed.
And it's that expectation thing, right? Like if you come out of the gate that way, everything else either needs to be at that level or a step up, as opposed to
like I wanted to hear like a credit card commercial.
Yeah.
Or something.
And I think maybe that's the biggest note is the copy. And that's something, we haven't really talked about yet, but it's so important that the copy that you're reading is both on brand for you, meaning like you as an actor, if you're an upbeat, kind of relatable, easygoing kind of guy, that your voice matches with the current branding of the clients on your demo, so that lends authenticity. But then also the copy itself, that it is written how radio and television copy is written in 2019. Like there were things.
Like the UPS one wasn't. I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, like it just. I think maybe that's the biggest thing here was just it was really close, and maybe with better copy.
Or like reordering things and taking some things out. That might have helped.
Might help tighten some things up in terms of presenting a clear picture of who you are as an actor.
Yeah.
What did you think, Tish?
Yeah. Well, it is interesting because we keep on, every piece of copy is like conversational. So it's interesting. This piece was very nice. The second piece was very nice conversational. And then there's also the how is the conversation in a commercial?
Mm-hmm.
But that's an interesting point. I think it hits like shape of, in terms of having the energies and some differentiation, and different it hits all of them. I think it had me in the beginning and then lost me towards the end. It was the experience of it. Like it hit everything that it's supposed to, and then how did that go?
I think it just needs, like, this kind of demo just needs some finessing, because to me, I'm like, okay, Adam, he can work in this market, and I believe that, and he's a good actor, and we can hear all that different nuance. I think it's just
like rearranging the furniture. Like need, but if we put the couch here, and then that's interesting.
And throw out this old chair that we don't want anymore.
Maybe, yeah, that's an interesting way to think of it too. And once again, guys, this, this is a perspective, and what we really, really want you guys to be thinking about are like, these are all things to be taking into consideration. How else can you be thinking about your demo and what's in it? So
exactly.
Because
we all want you to succeed. That's the whole point. We want you to put your best foot forward and get all the business, all the jobs, all the things that you can possibly get. And our job is to say, here's what we hear, and here may be some things to think about moving forward.
Yeah, totally.
So, April.
Let's listen to April.
Here's a sandwich that beats anything from last night. Deli Creations Hot Sandwich Melts from Oscar Mayer. Everything you need packaged fresh, including delicious oven-baked bread. Your left demographics, playgrounds, schools, and more? You can find the right house and neighborhood for you, even when created equal. From Nokia. Hey Marie, it's me, your money. Okay, so here's the thing. I know you sent me to Drew to pay him back for those tickets, but I got a little sidetracked. Totally not my cheddar cheese. You get the best mac and cheese. Stouffer's Classics. What are you hungry for?
Okay. So, in my opinion, I would move that last spot to your opener.
Absolutely.
Because that is, you are clearly connected, and that just feels it feels genuine.
Yeah.
Everything else on there, I was listening through, and I was like, I was trying to remember why we put it through to the next round, to be honest with you, until I heard that last spot, and I was like, that was the reason why.
And she cuts it.
So for me, the overall, and this is where we can kind of get into some more nitty gritty stuff, which you don't know until you know, and that it really comes down to this idea of outfitting the demo to your personality. And to me, the overall pacing of this demo just felt like we were moving through
mud. Felt the same.
It just felt so long and so slow, and so it just kind of had this rolling along kind of vibe. Whereas with what we want to have something that's snappy. We want to have something that gives us an edge, that perks our ears, that grabs us in, that pulls us in. And for all of us, the last spot
did that.
It all went whoosh.
It's breathtaking, that last spot. Yeah.
And so, in terms of practical things, I would open with that one. And then, in terms of the demo itself, I would, for me, the overall pacing of it felt really strange.
It felt very similar.
And everything kind of had this very kind of slow moving cadence to it.
The variation, yeah. One of the images that I love to think about a great demo is that it grabs you, like think of it like a roller coaster ride. Like it grabs you and you have that click and then wee, and then it goes whoosh, bah, wee, boom, bah. But it's all one ride, right? It's all you, it's all one ride. And at the end we want to go, oh, I want to hear that again.
More.
I want to hear that again. But I think what Brittany and Ron are saying in that roller coaster thing, it was kind of like maybe a kiddie roller coaster that was like, okay, there. So how can you find more variations to take us on that ride and create those dynamics? That being said, everything's good, solid. That macaroni and cheese, like I have to go get macaroni and cheese right now. It's like, oh my God, so good. And then the other thing that I would commend about this April is that your funny was funny. Like your joke popped for me. And that's really important, to have something that is funny, that you can handle that. And then the other thing that I think is interesting, and I can't see you, my dear, but this is an interesting thing. I get a sense that you are African American. Is that accurate? And I think it's a really interesting thing because I get it a little bit, and it was like just the right. It wasn't anything too like, which is great if that is the case, because you got it and it didn't matter. But I could hear if that's something that I wanted to go with, right? And that's where I think with your branding, as you know, when you have something that is specific like that you're bringing to the party is good. So I think this is, and this is also an interesting thing. I think sometimes when we hear like, oh, they didn't like my demo, is it a total gut job, or is it just rearranging the furniture and painting the cabinets a little?
And again, it also, all these things it depends on your market too, because every market is totally different. What they listen for in Boise is very different than what they listen for in LA. So that's something to always keep in mind as well.
Well, and it always, again, like we said from the very beginning and kind of been rehashing, is it always comes back to you, and it comes back to what you want for yourself as a voiceover artist.
Right.
It's important for you to take the time to define what that is, and so if you are happy with the type of work that you're getting, and you're using this demo and it's working for you, mission accomplished. You're doing it. You're getting everything that you want from your best case situation. Yeah. However, if you're working with this and your best case scenario is not happening for you, then these are all things that you can kind of take under consideration and consult and, look at as things that may be contributing to why people aren't connecting with you as a first impression using your demo.
And so I think we have time for to go through two more before we need to switch over to animation and narration.
Sure.
Let's run down to Kevin's, because I know we all had a strong response to that.
Okay.
We've always been a nation of builders, craftsmen, from the skyscraper to the cotton gin. Making good things is in our blood. We just have to do it. So we did. The new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Whatever you do, don't forget that the more you live forward, the more you need someone at your back. The powerful backing of American Express. Don't live life without it. The future is black. Call of Duty Black Ops. Rated M for mature. It doesn't matter to him that General Electric powers a third of the planet. What matters to him is that it's getting dark. And he has homework to do.
The holidays are coming up fast. Time to get a fast phone. And right now at T-Mobile, get 2 Samsung Galaxy 4G smartphones for the price of 1. Joy to the Galaxy.
So, did you guys notice we listened to that entire demo?
You can turn it off. You can't turn it off. That's the other thing about being on a roller coaster, right? You can't turn it off. That was so good. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
It was, every moment was so believable. I feel like I've heard all of those commercials on the TV, on the radio. I believed every single moment of it. And it was so specific. I know exactly who this dude is. I know exactly how I would cast him.
And I want to be his daughter, like from that kid one. Like, oh, that's great. And then also the other thing, as someone who's having someone join my team, I can put anything in front of this guy and he's going to rock it.
Right.
Like total confidence. There's nothing that I would be worried about there.
Right. And I would say the only thing that I would want to add to that might help tighten the screws up just a little bit is I feel like that T-Mobile spot could be moved up in the order.
I agree.
Just to show, because it did start to kind of, the overall pacing did kind of slow down for me toward the middle, and that T-Mobile spot is, you're still authentically you, and you still feel really connected to what you're saying. So I think that energy would be a great lift towards the, move it up in the demo. Maybe it's a direct contrast with that Jeep spot in the beginning. Contrast is our friend. And so if you've got these great moments, and you go from very warm and intimate to something a little more hyped and high energy, that's very ear catching.
But
and then
still connected, not just energy for energy's sake.
Right. Everything is, and that's the point, is everything on the spot, Kevin, and from performance wise to the overall production felt really true and authentic to the brands. I believe that you would do them all. Yeah. And then if you were looking to like nitpick and tighten something up,
maybe move that up.
Is maybe consider moving the T-Mobile up earlier, just because it might freshen things up in the middle with people listening all the way through. But I would just listen to the Jeep spot and be like,
and
cool.
Be like, cast, give that man a contract.
Yeah. And then the other thing to really note, well, two things I want to point out here. I think it might have been Steve's who had sort of a more promo-y thing at the first, and we're like, well, that's a promo thing. Did you see how Kevin had a quite similar promo-y commercial, the Black Ops, right? The video game Black Ops. But it was tucked in after we were quite sure that he knew what genre we were interested in, and then it provided a contrast. And then also this rearranging the furniture thing, don't underestimate when you get, so first of all, we want all of the spots to be awesome, right? And then there's this next layer of which order do they go in? And just like you can put two different colors together, and one, if these two colors are together, this one comes forward and this one recedes. But if you put another color here, then this one receides and this one comes forward. The same thing can happen with creating the running order and this ride that we're going on. So that's another thing to take into consideration. But what I really, really, really want everyone to feel is the like, yes, yes, yes. Oh, wow. Who is this guy? We want to work with him. That's ideally what we want your demo to elicit, right? That's what we want.
The goal. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
The goal.
We have time for one more commercial.
One more.
Just
Who's it going to be?
Rebecca. Let's do Rebecca.
Listen to Rebecca?
Sure, why not?
All right.
What is iPad? iPad is thin. iPad is beautiful. iPad goes anywhere and lasts all day. There's no right way or wrong way. During the Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru owners feel it too. Because when you take home a new Subaru, we donate $250 to helping those in need. Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Take your time, breathe deeply, enjoy the view. REI. Get outside yourself. I am in love with bullet points. Automatic numbering drives me wild. Italics, bold, underlined. I can't get enough.
Cool. Okay. Did I mute myself? Am I unmuted? Let's see.
There we go.
So with Rebecca's, after listening more, I hate the first spot. I'm so sorry, Rebecca. I don't like it. The tone is not right. It doesn't feel real to me. It gives off more of a sexy kind of thing that I didn't feel right for iPad. But Subaru, I believed, and I liked Subaru. And I was like, okay, so she should be more warm and friendly. And then that started happening. So for me, I thought starting with the iPad
was a disservice
to you. Subaru, I felt, was pretty strong and felt good.
I'll chime in after. Well, I'll try to come in now.
Well, because you're the Subaru gal.
Well, I'm one of the Subaru. Are you really on these spots, Rebecca? Which is great. I mean, if you are, that's awesome. Because I am one of the voices of Subaru. What's that?
No, I am not.
Well, that's great. So this is a really, really interesting thing to bring into mind, especially as you're moving into bigger national markets. Then this is interesting because it's good. It's good for your voice. It's super smart, right? And it's great. This happened to me before. So here's the thing of it. Agents know who has done things, right? They do. So, and this is something to take into consideration with any like major ass car brand. Like, oh, I have a Honda spot. Well, that's interesting because a celebrity does that, right? Right. So this is a really interesting thing. It's a great thing for your voice. Ultimately, we want the roller coaster ride also to be, there's nothing that makes us go, is that spot real? And as you know, like, hey, wait a minute, I did the voice. And this happened to me with a really good friend of mine as we met through audiobooks. And then she was like, oh, listen to my commercial demo. And it was like my Citibank spot. And I was like, oh, awkward.
That's such a simple thing, and I just didn't think about it.
No,
So
no,
simple.
no, and it's not, but it's fantastic. It's great that it came up. I mean, because you could have had a Cadillac thing, and I'd be like, okay, great. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. And not in a competitive way, right? Like, oh, wait, no, is she really one of the voices of Subaru? Because I'm not all of the voices of Subaru. So, oh, that's great. If you are, terrific. Like my friend.
Well, I'm glad that you even felt you had to ask for a split second.
Well, yeah. No, don't diminish yourself. No, that's great. But it is a great thing to keep in mind too. I know demo producers who won't put any car spots on there for that particular reason.
And then that brings up the importance of making sure that when you do put a demo together or work with a demo producer, that they are writing original copy for you. Mm-hmm. Because if it is copy that the audition went out months ago and the spot has already aired and it's the exact same copy, people will know, no, I know who cast that spot. But if it's a different copy, same brand, then that's okay. So it's kind of it's always something to think about.
Yeah, and then also depending on who you work with, there's some demo producers who make things easier for them, and you'll hear, wow, that was on somebody else's demo as well.
No, that is a no-no.
That's a big red flag.
The ways that someone can rationalize that, I find it very disturbing. Of like, I want my demo to have nothing like, oh, I just heard that on a girl's demo, huh? Okay, so that's kind of, those are some good layers.
And I think the biggest takeaway for everybody from this particular situation is that it's important to make sure that nothing is detracting from the people who are going to be listening to your demo, whether that be that they've heard that spot exactly as it is already, or if they hear something that calls something else into question. Like the whole point is to make sure that this illusion, for lack of a better word, this reality, this authenticity carries all the way through without question. Notice how, like with Kevin's demo, these didn't happen. These questions were not even a flicker in the mind of the way the copy was or whatever. But in this particular scenario, something about that copy and something about that way distracted us. And so now, we're talking about that as opposed to, wow, Rebecca's great, we need to call her in.
And I don't want that.
So it's just another layer to kind of keep in mind.
And so because I know we have some animation and stuff, we're going to hop over to animation first and listen through these two. And we're going to kind of split the difference. We're not going to listen through the whole thing, but we'll skip around.
So we want to make sure, I know we've got a lot of questions and we want to make sure that we're giving you, some actionable things.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's really good for just taking a second, because I know a lot of people have a lot of different demos, but just to understand that, especially for folks who don't have their demos yet or are just starting, to understand that for each different genre, you really want to have a separate demo, right? Into the choir for most people, and then understand that each genre is going to have the different range of requirements, different gauntlet that we're looking for. So that this is good to get a little taste of, and here's something else, and also the through line being, is it genuinely you doing all of those voices? Is it genuinely you taking me on this journey as a narrator? Is it genuinely you in all of these commercials? So that's ultimately
absolutely.
So with animation, kind of like what we touched on before, this is more about extremes. However, a lot of the commercial rules still apply in terms of, are these characters believable? Does the setup of the demo in terms of its overall pacing and flow resonate?
Does it feel real?
Does it feel real? Do I believe you? All of those things carry over into this other realm, even though in this other realm in terms of performance, now we're listening for extreme range, and we're listening for comedy specifically.
Yeah. And I think also in animation, because animation has the trends in animation have shifted, and and what is on the air has shifted, and then also what our idea of it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that's also something to take into account.
All right, Phoebe.
Oh! Stop that this instant. Get your big bill away from my bum. Just because I'm a goose doesn't mean that you can goose me. Good day, Mallard. OMG. This biology class is so boring. Who is going to have to dissect a frog in real life? You know what would make sense is the biology of Brad. Oh, hey, Brad. I don't mind being burdened with glamour and sexuality. Us rabbits come to it naturally, which is why there's so many of us. Report. My name is Hal. I'm 6 years old. My mommy is going to have... Oh, well, they call me a cricket.
I think it didn't go far enough. For me, all the voices kind of lived in the same place. And like, I liked the teenager dissecting the frog, but I think it could have gone further. It also felt homemade to me. With animation and video game demos, there is so much layering that happens. You have music, you have background, you have sound effects, you have maybe other characters, and you have your character shining through this whole thing. So to me, it felt homemade because we just had the duck, or we just had the music, or just the school bell. It didn't feel real. And
the context wasn't there.
And again, I think the voice, because in animation, we want to hear the extremes of what you do as well as what you naturally sound like. I don't know, from listening to this demo, I don't know your range. I don't know what you sound like, high pitched, low, gruff. It felt very almost one note to me.
Now, there's a lot. For me, the first piece was completely confusing. Like I didn't get a sense of what show it was in. I got a sense that there was a fun scene, but it took a long time. But that being said, the teenager one was great, and I love the things that I loved. I totally bought it. I loved the pacing. I loved the amount that happened in it. Like, she was here, and then she was here, and then she was here, and then like there was a little roller coaster ride of emotion, and it was really specific. I got a super clear sense of where she was and what she was after. The rabbit thing made me smile. I think it could go deeper too, but it was fun. And the boy, and then the other thing I liked was that there was a contrast between the goose or the goose or the duck and the teenager. Like that sharp thing is something that I want to hear in an animation thing. Mm-hmm. Right. And then I think as Brittany's saying, and you can go further, and you still all want it to be in your truth. I liked there's a good beginning of the boy. I would want to hear it more boyish. Like what makes it more boy, even more distinguishing boy. And then also I love this idea of, if you're going to do animation and you do kids' voices, this idea of having really contrasty ages, right? That when you're 6, that's different than when you're 16, and that's a
you're
cool
60.
Right, exactly, which is kind of what the duck was like. Wait, where is she? And I might even go to like full force British. It was kind of like neither here nor there of that. And then did it get cut off? Was like, or was that really the end of the song?
We stopped it.
We just stopped it.
Okay.
We want to make sure we have
questions.
But also that I think that's interesting to put in a dash of, if you sing, to sing. That's
right.
Always.
So maybe the broader takeaways for everyone listening in who maybe didn't submit an animation demo and are considering it: commit. animation is about commitment. We want real characters in real context, even if they're like elaborate context, like you're a fairy princess at a tea party of evil rabbits. It really doesn't matter. Like, the context is what's so important. And so it's super, and the thing that plays the biggest role in that is both the copy, also the length of the copy. I would say, practically, like BB, if you went in and got really specific and wanted to fine tune this, I think you can pull about 15 seconds out of the length of the demo and not lose anything. And I think it might help certain things click a little bit better.
Yeah.
But in terms of overall performance and approach for animation, this is really where it's voice acting. This is where we go beyond, I can do weird voices. Animation is not about I can do weird voices. Animation is about I can create believable worlds
and
characters with my voice acting.
Yeah, and I think BB, I think this does capture that. I think what we're saying is we can go further.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Commit. Really commit. Don't hold back. I think that's the message. Don't hold back anything. And then this will be the last one, and then we'll answer questions.
Walter, your doorbell's not working, Walter. BC.
Where am I?
Oh, Penny, I'm so sorry. Always find a Jamaican. I do enjoy having you over.
To change partners.
Okay. So this is one of those situations where
it's so quiet.
The production and the overall approach is incredibly distracting to where we couldn't even listen to the demo. Like, I couldn't even hear your voice in the thing because it's not mixed and prepared to the quality standard that it needs to be. Like, this demo,
very, very quiet.
This demo was incredibly quiet compared to BB's,
all the other ones,
and every other demo we've listened to today. And so this is one of those situations where it's really, really important to have at least a basic if you're doing it yourself, to have a basic understanding of how to prepare your demo to the loudness and to the quality that's expected, or if you're working with somebody, to make sure that person
understands it,
knows that as well, which they obviously should if you're paying them to.
From some of the stuff that I was able to hear, there's some range in there, and the accents are great and all of that stuff. But I think it's really because again, casting directors and people just don't have time. And so if there's one takeaway, it's if something is distracting and makes it more work for them, they will move on.
Yeah. It really is that simple. Yeah. And you could be a phenomenal animation voice actor.
Right. But if the audio is fuzzy, if it's too quiet, if it's way too loud, they will turn it off.
Right. And it has,
it happens all the time.
It happens all the time. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from this one, is that it's just not up to the standard that it needs to be in terms of volume and production. And therefore we couldn't even listen to it. Yeah. Couldn't hear it.
I do hear the foundation of really good acting and creating scenes and scenarios in short amount of times, and also that the accents accents are really, really good. I would almost say to produce this at higher levels and have this be an accent reel, and then have another animation reel that is more about a scene or or combination of that, because it really does seem a really powerful showcase of accents. And then there could be even more in a animation reel.
And guys, just because we're running out of time. If we didn't get to your demo, don't panic. Tish and us are giving, 15 minutes free coaching, and we can talk more in depth about your specific demo or your specific situation. And we're very happy to do that. Ryan's going to put up our website information and his email, so you can reach out to us. So I just wanted to, in case anybody has to run, don't panic. We can make this happen.
And also, in case anyone has, I encourage you to stay for all the questions. But just want to let you know, in terms of what goes on at the VO Dojo, this is one of the things that we love. We love to do, to bring opportunities for people to come together. Ongoingly, if you're just starting out, we have 4. Let me see. It's helpful. Let me see if this is helpful. I don't know if it's helpful to Queer, but we have 4. Let me see if I can find me. Where am I? I can't see me. Oh, we've got so many people. We've got 2 pages. Oh, here we are. We've got 4 elements to the program. The You Should Do Voiceover Intensive, which we do virtually and live. We have a 14, if that sparks you, the full 14-month Mystery to Mastery program is like going into full training if you're going to go become a boxer. And there's various levels where each of you might fall. There's 4 belt levels there. We have our Working Pro workout, or weekly ongoing workout accountability group called the Nth Degree. And then we also do the VO Dojo Pro Fight Club, which is our Working Pro workout that brings together top-notch talent with the decision makers who hire us. So we do that once live per month, once virtual per month. And in April, we're going to be doing our first New York Live Fight Club. So those are all things that we can talk about when we talk about your demo, about if there's something else that you would be interested in connecting and getting support on, or if you like the way we're working. So great, excellent. So
I saw on the chat, I just scanning through, someone asked pros and cons about doing your own copy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a caveat. It kind of it can depend. So if you are willing to do the research and put in the time and listen to a lot of demos, listen to a lot of commercials, and really do research and understand brands that your voice is right for and what their current branding is, go for it. That's totally great. If it's kind of like time versus money, right? So if you hire a demo producer, that is something they should be doing for you.
Yes.
Because I know part of our process is when someone comes to us and says, hey, I want to make a commercial demo. We say, okay, tell us about your background. What's your training? Send us voice samples. And then from our experience and all the weeks, months, years of research and talking to people and listening to hundreds of demos and commercials and all that stuff, and we do that research for you. And so that's part of what you're paying for. So that's, if you are considering working with a demo producer, that is something you should absolutely ask, because it's pretty standard now that a lot of places will write original copy for you. Or if you want to bring your own copy, they'll help you shape it to make it more commercially viable.
Right, and I think what Kurt said, if you're good at copywriting, there's also an art form too. So we've got several different layers of things here. It's good at copywriting, right? Good at taking a snip, getting that snip of copywriting that's going to activate the demo,
right?
And what's going to, and most importantly, what is really going to showcase you. In the dojo process, we are all about, there should be nothing on the demo that doesn't actually resonate with you. Because the foundation of everything we do here is that voiceover is communication, and communication is an exchange of vibrational energy. So if your voice is perfect for McDonald's, but you would never go there and you're vegan, that's not a good fit for you, right? So there's several layers of that. So
right, and just to kind of piggyback on everything that Brittany and Tish have been saying is that especially in today's world, things are getting more and more isolated, and there's bigger and bigger responsibilities being placed on a smaller group of people, and so it's almost unfair in the sense of what's expected of a voiceover talent in 2019, because you're literally doing the jobs that used to be attributed to 10 different people, and you're expected to do them all, yourself.
Have a home studio, do all your own editing.
At the highest caliber.
At the highest caliber. Right. So in that regard, when it comes to your demo, and when it comes to things that you are going to rely on to put things out there
and make you
money, it makes sense that you would want to involve more than just yourself. And so, whether you end up working, whether you reach out to Brittany or I, or whether you've got your eye on other demo producers or whatever, like really do your homework, listen to their stuff, compare their stuff with other people, compare their stuff with what you hear on the TV and the radio, and really make an honest assessment for yourself about what you like and what you don't like. And don't be afraid to say no, and don't be afraid to ask questions and find out what they're going to do for you. Like Brittany was saying, our process, we're very collaborative. We like to hear you. We send you scripts to read as we're talking about what your branding is and zeroing in on who you are as an artist before we write a single bit of copy, which we also do. Then we go and we write original copy for you, so that from the very beginning, you're set up to succeed.
And you can just be an actor.
And that's where this whole process comes in, is you don't have to do it by yourself, nor should you. Anybody that makes, the kind of money that you want to make is not doing it by themselves.
And that's what your demo is being compared to.
Right.
So if it does stand up, great. That's amazing.
Right.
But if it doesn't,
I think that's one of the superpowers that you guys bring to the party too, and what you want to be looking for in whatever demo producer you are working with. Absolutely. Do they have a finger on the pulse of what the trends are? I love Brittany, that your ear is so tuned into that's not what that brand is about today. That's not what's up yet right now. So that's another layer. Oh, good.
And I always think about it like fixing a car. Can you, if something's wrong with your car, can you fix it? You can spend the hours figuring out how to fix your car, but would you trust yourself to drive your car and for it to be great afterwards? Or would you just rather pay someone to fix the car, it's right, and you've done it once because that's their expertise?
Right. And it's so important to, I think if there was one big takeaway that you could take away from all of this for every demo we listen to today, it's that your work does not exist in a vacuum.
Right.
So it is so important for you to put yourself out there and to compare yourself honestly and truthfully with what is current and what is out there now. And it's okay if there's a disconnect. That's why people exist, to help you. And that's also why you invest to take classes and why you are, doing this thing. It's not I think I want to do voiceover and then bam, I'm at the top. You know what I mean? It's a job. It takes work. It takes a team of people. It takes support. It takes mentors. It takes practice and time. So, the biggest takeaway is do not be afraid to honestly compare your work with the people that you admire. Go to the big Jeep commercial, put and transcribe it. Take the exact same words, perform it yourself, do it the way that you feel it should be done, and then listen back. And if it doesn't hit you or resonate the same way, then there's more work to be done.
Yeah.
And these are all the benefits and all the things that, Brittany and I take under consideration, and why we're here to help and provide this context,
for sure,
for you, so that you're not doing it alone. You don't have to do it alone. Please don't do it alone. It's just not worth it.
And then the other thing that we talk about at the dojo is that there's the act of crossing through the threshold of a demo. And a good demo producer, if you kind of know what you're about and you're bringing stuff to the party, a good demo producer will get you a good demo. What we're looking for is that you're able to deliver confidently by yourself 2 steps beyond what you're able to do on the demo. Or maybe there's stuff that you're like, ooh, this is just right there, and then it will develop. But the real thing is, are you able to deliver what's on your demo consistently with whatever's put in front of you. So that's another thing to make sure that that you understand the responsibility. Like, you can have a great demo and then not be able to deliver on it. So just kind of celebrating that.
Right. It's just honesty, right? It's just more. It's honesty. Again, it's
where you are.
And I guess that goes back to this question to wrap up this question. If you write your own copy, how do you know where you are? Do you have a sense of where you are? So it all kind of ties together. Well, let's see. There's a couple other questions here. Taking out 2 character commercial spots brings commercial down to 35 seconds. Is that a problem? No, she just adds more.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I think we sent a reply in the chat to that. But yeah, so in general, lengthwise, I didn't see anything super crazy today,
which is great,
which is awesome.
That's amazing.
That has not been the case previous times that we've done this.
We've had 4-minute demos.
Commercial demos, like standard practice, the target is 60 seconds. Yep. If you go 5 seconds over, no big deal.
Or under.
Or if you're 5 seconds under, no big deal. Yeah. But 60 seconds, clean, easy, boom, here it is, good to go. That's commercial. Animation and narration, you can get a little bit,
no more than 2 minutes.
No more than 2 minutes for narration, because the goal is to hear you on longer copy. And that's what people are buying. That's what they want to know they can trust you for, is to deliver their audiobook or deliver their, e-learning material over an hour's lecture. So aim for, no more than 2 minutes on your narration demo, and animation and video game, no more than 90 seconds.
Yeah, no more than 90.
And these are kind of the guidelines. Obviously, the goal is to be as direct as possible. Yeah. And 60 seconds has been this
is the magic number right now.
Is the magic number right now, and it's because over time, through all of the collective experience of everybody doing this, 60 seconds has just emerged as kind of the right amount of time to where, if you're going to listen all the way through, you feel like you can trust that person and know who you're buying. And also, it's not so much time that it takes you forever to get through a bulk of people. So it's not like we shall make commercial demos and they shall be 60 seconds. It's kind of just a thing that has emerged for convenience. And it also acts as a tool for you, to your benefit, to make sure that you're being as direct as possible. Because if you can't say it in 60 seconds, then don't say it. Just do it in 60 seconds.
Kurt asks who's going to VO Atlanta. Miranda's going to be there. That'll be great for people to connect. What other questions do you guys have? We have a couple more minutes. Were we so clear? That's all.
I hope so.
Well, why don't we? If there aren't any more questions, I would love.
Hello.
Oh yes, who's speaking?
Hey, it's Joel Heverly. How are you guys?
Hey, Joel. Good. What's your question?
Well, I don't know if you guys. I know I made it through the first pass. I don't know if I made it through if you actually listened to my demo the second time through. I actually had to go pick up a check from an agent.
Oh, well, that's good. That's always the best reason. We had to kind of, we did kind of a pick and choose, but, so we didn't get to listen to yours fully, but, if you'd like to, take some time, both Brittany and Ryan and I, individually, you can get 15 minutes of time with each of us, so you can hop on our calendars and we can talk more.
Okay. And how do I do that?
Website, www.thevodojo.com, and scroll down to the voiceover once-over button. And then if you're still on this, the questions are on the chat.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Well, does anyone else have other questions? If not, I'd love to finish up with what we do at the dojo. We usually finish up whenever 2 or more of us are met. We finish with something that I call a dojo O, which each of you can just share one thing that made you go, oh, or oh or oh or whatever the O is, and distill it into its most yeah, it could also be like distill it into its most essential form. I think we have time to sort of breeze through, and I'd love to hear everyone's voice in the room too. So let's do that. Let's see, Quentin, you're the first square. I'm going to unmute you, and what's your Dojo O for today? If you're still there. Okay. Hi there, Quentin.
No.
No? Okay. Back to mute. Okay. Lori, what's your Dojo O for today? Hold on, I'm going to try and unmute you. Why is it not working? Can you unmute yourself? Unmute yourself? No. Okay, there you go. There you go. What's your Dojo O for today?
Intentions, my dear.
Excellent.
To worry about the intention, not the voice.
Yeah. Good. And actually, we can, if you want to type them in, you can type them in the chat too. Type your Dojo O. Yes, here we go. Good. Let's see. Larry, Justice, I see your house, but I don't see you. Okay. We'll come back to you. Clayton, what's your Dojo O for today? I'll do the places that have faces.
Okay, please remind me one more time of what the Dojo O, like, is this advice that you're asking for?
No. Just one thing that struck you. Like, what are you taking away? What's something that yeah, exactly.
That industry changes, and it's really important to keep things fresh. For instance, not having character spots in a commercial demo. Mine was in 2014 when I made it. Makes absolute sense that that's not something that's happening today. So I think it's really cool to get that kind of confirmation from you guys, and it helped a lot.
Good. Yes. Good. Changes. Claude, what's your Dojo O for today? Oh, we can't hear you, honey. You're unmuted here. Yeah, everyone's putting their stuff in the chat. This is great. We'll hop to it. Well, Claude, I think it might be your earphones. So why don't you type in the chat what your Dojo O is, and we'll swing back. Let's see. Chris says, Chris asks, will the narration demos be reviewed? Yeah, I can take time to review we can do that individually too. So if you want to call in for a voiceover, once over, we can do that. Tara, I know how to say your name.
Yay!
Tish, not Trish. I think for me, the main thing was having your spots in the demo fitting today's trends and a little more attention to trendiness.
Yeah.
And also making sure it genuinely sounds like you or me or whomever.
Good. And Laura, what's your Dojo O? Can you hear me, Laura? Laura, don't.
I didn't have a question.
Oh, I was asking if you had a Dojo O to share.
Oh, yeah, the fact that my demo, which was professionally produced, sounded homemade. I was very surprised at that. So now I am going to be looking around to find out a better place to produce it.
We'll keep on asking questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. Excellent. And Dr. Goldman.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'll try and unmute.
No, you got it. We gotcha.
D. I just used D. I have the same thing about what this woman just said, that my demo reel appeared false and homemade. Au contraire, not at all. I do agree and have been stymied with the minute the piece comes out, I feel they're dated. A demo reel, I think it's really hard, and I've learned a lot today about what could keep it current, but I had that feeling from the get-go, like to put Liberty Mutual insurance on was ridiculous. I also think, like you call it, moving the furniture. Sequencing, I drove myself crazy. I have 4 other versions of this demo. I put this one, I sent this one because this is the one that the producer felt was the broadest range for me.
Cool. So yeah. So what's
that's all I have to say. I don't know if that's a dojo.
Yeah, we would probably just distill it down a little bit, but there's lots of good points in there. So really good. And again, my loves, this is our opinion. If it opens up, this is 1, 2, 3 different opinions. So if it opens up some other things that you can explore, ultimately, you are in the driver's seat and you guide yourself. So that
point taken. Thanks. It was awesome.
Yeah. Good. Yay, excellent. And
I think Rebecca you were waving. Did you have a question?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. My voiceover dojo was actually the idea of staying true to yourself versus variety. And so my question is, staying true to yourself, someone like me, I have multiple personalities. So I'm curious, how do we incorporate variety along with still being true to yourself? Because in my spot, I have this crazy Piggly Wiggly commercial or a chicken commercial in there that should I be taking it out because it's such a different energy than what the other ones are? Or
it sounds like probably this would be something that we would look at like specifically for you, and it would all come down to kind of where you want to go and where you see yourself fitting into the bigger market.
Yeah.
And so based on that, we would be able to kind of make specific recommendations on things that may be detracting or not serving you in the way that you are wanting them to.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily staying true to yourself, it's staying true to where you want to be.
A little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both. It's just shifting the mindset from this idea of a demo is all about the things I can do, and shifting into this mindset of this demo needs to showcase my personality. It needs to ring true for me and what I want as an artist.
Okay.
So it's a mindset shift away from here's all these different things to here's me.
And then I think there's also in any demo, how can I make it as simple as possible for you to know exactly what to do with me?
Exactly.
I think that's the other layer, right?
But if you want to talk more specifics, please just shoot us an email and we can find a time and chat like specifics about your demo. Happy to.
All right. Thank you.
And,
Yes, of course.
yeah, let's pop through. I like this hearing people's voice. BB. We'll go BB, Kurt, then Justin. Dojo O, Dojo O, Dojo O is the rhythm we're looking for, and we can all talk more because it's 5 after. But I like this getting to have everybody's voice in the room too. So BB, what's your Dojo O for today? Oh, but we have to hear you. Hold on one second. Okay, now we can hear you.
Hello. Thank you so much for your comments. My O is the paint on the wall / rearranging the furniture comment. I think I can definitely do some of that to make both of my demos pop more. And I'm looking forward to reaching out to both you, Tish, and to Brittany and Ryan for more specifics. So thank you.
Awesome.
Of course.
Of course.
And Kurt, how about you? What's your Dojo O? Oops, hold on. Let's unmute you. Hold on. This is my mute button.
Ready.
I got it. There we go. You got it.
All right.
Well, I mean, it was great. It was a lot of stuff reiterated from a lot of other, teachers and coaches and stuff that I've heard. And one thing that was interesting was just the way you listen to them. And I got that from the casting it voice caster.
Yeah.
Also does the same thing, listens in these little short bursts and goes through the whole thing, which really makes it interesting in that, you so often hear like, oh, put your best stuff right up front, like your best spots, but you got to make sure it's all good, because if you're going to be hitting all of them, you're going to hit that last spot too. It's not like, oh, I'll throw this thing in at the end. Just,
Yeah.
it's all got to resonate. So
Good.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then I love also, like I said, everybody always needs to be revisiting their demos. I've been doing this 20 years. Okay, you've been doing this for a while. Everybody always has to be rethinking. So that's great.
It's like a living document. You can always edit. You can always change things around, add to, subtract. It's as you learn and grow as an artist, and as the market changes, so will your demo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. Justin.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're quiet, but we can hear you.
Okay. So first of all, that I'm in phenomenal hands with Ryan and Brittany next month.
We're so excited.
Woo! I'm excited for that. And then the next thing I would be is that there's no frills. That's I think Ryan said that. Seeing it put into effect and how you critiqued everyone's demos, that was extremely enlightening for me.
Very good.
Yeah, I think that's something else. Like, there's so much that, we work so hard to get to a point where we can go like, boom, that's a take. Boom, that's another take. Boom, that's another take. We work so hard to get it. And then, I'm putting it all together in a demo. And then there's this next layer of, we send it out and what happens, right? So to have this like hands-on, like, well, this is kind of what happens. Beep, bop, boom. Yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, nope. That's what happens. So like it, don't like it, get right on one day and get swipe left on the other day because someone else is listening. Like, that's what happens, babies. So it just kind of goes like, yeah, that's it. So yeah, good.
And I think that's always the hard thing. It's, that is how it goes, whether you're auditioning or with a demo, and it's never personal. It is just what it is. And I know we really appreciate you guys being open to listening and to all of that stuff. And, we do all this with the hope that you can take something useful out of it and continue to grow and move forward and help you get further.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. April, I have you written down, but I'd love to hear your voice in the room if you are available. There you go.
Hello. Hi, you guys. Thanks for all the input. A lot of that made a lot of sense. I'm an actor, so I know the acting aspect of voiceover is coming into play now where they're using a lot of actors too. Is that something that you guys find that's important as far as having an acting background for commercials?
Yeah. I don't think there's ever a scenario where a background in acting is going to be a bad thing, just because of the nature of the craft. You're learning how to create these these believable moments, and you're learning how to communicate and convey story and emotion with your whole being, with your voice in particular. All the energy comes through your voice, even more so than on camera work, because we don't have a visual guide to help us. We can't read lips, we can't read facial expressions. All of those quirks and nuances have to be so felt in your voice so that we can still get that same experience. So yes, absolutely. And it is voice acting. Is the definition of what it is.
And being able to take direction is 90% of the job.
Yeah. So yes, it's absolutely going to help you.
Yeah. And I will add a couple of other perspectives on that. I think that if you come from this, that it's the exchange of vibrational energy. If you don't have acting background, trust that you have experience of communicating with people in a way that is what we're looking for in a commercial. So I think acting only serves you. If you don't have acting background, one of the layers of musculature that you will be building as a voiceover actor will be building your acting muscles. Now, what I have found is that people who have been at some of the finest acting training centers, or working in different mediums, right, coming from stage and stuff, that there's a recalibration where your very specific theater training is something you have to undo. And oftentimes the psyche of an actor is like, great, what do you want me to be? Who can I be? Like, it just says friendly voice, like male or female friendly voice, but what do you want? Do you want a Portuguese pirate with a peg leg? Or, that people sometimes are a little bit like, oh, I became an actor not to be me. And so part of the process when you come from that is coming down to really just so I think there's nothing wrong with having acting training, and I also make a big deal about, if you don't have acting training, you can learn to be a great, you can develop the skills of being a great voice actor.
Absolutely.
So all right,
guys.
Yeah.
Larry, were you trying to say something?
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you. I found it quite enlightening. I was kind of shocked, though, when you said you do listen to the beginning, the middle, and the end. After about the first 3 words of my demo, you blew it off and said that I don't remember the words, but that it was homemade. Yeah. But it was pretty expensive professional demo.
Right.
And, I'd like to get with you guys at some point and I just talked to you about it. And I had to miss about 45 minutes toward the end, or I had to leave, but I'm back. And, are you going to post your contact info and
everything is posted in the chat. You can find you can sign up for time with me. You can sign up for time with Brittany and Ryan. I'd love to hear, and once again, this is not personal. This was in the context. So, and it's, so it's all good and we can all talk about it. I'd love to hear like one thing that you're taking away, that your Dojo O.
Well, the one thing I'm taking away is maybe I'm a little dated.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
And because have been in the business 30 years, I did take a little bit of a break. I had New York representation.
Great.
So
Larry,
hundreds of radio and TV voiceovers.
Hold on,
and
Larry.
Ryan and Brittany say, no.
Larry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, and yes, and yes. And we can also hear all of that experience. So this takeaway is fantastic. This is great. That the trends might have changed. And then the question becomes, yay, how can I shift?
Exactly.
So that's great. So we'll be looking forward to hearing to talking with you more in depth about this. So excellent.
I really look forward to it. Maybe I need to get into the 21st century.
Excellent. Well, let's pop through. Thank you, Larry. Let's pop through and Jimmy, and then is it Sandy? What a cool name. Sandy, Joe, Rebecca, Steve, Martin, and if anyone else, and if you have to leave, guys, feel free. I just wanted to have everyone have a chance to share their O.
Thank you.
If you have to roll, please feel free. We'll be sharing this recording with you. We'll be looking forward to. Oh, that's a cool view, Justin. We'll be looking forward to talking with you individually and getting to work with you. Jimmy, share your. We've got it written down here, but let's unmute you and get your gravelly voice in the room, my friend.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah. What's your Dojo O in a nutshell?
My O was just authenticity and conversational.
Yeah.
Just keep it real.
Keep it real. That's a great O. Perfect.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
And I love your voice.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I also heard that on my demo. I liked my demo, I guess, to an extent, because it's the first one I've ever done. But I also heard, when I did more conversational, when I played it for something that was more conversational, it sounded better off the demo.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, we can talk more. And Sandy said that she'll talk with us individually. Who else did we miss? Steve? Did you get to share your Dojo O? Still there? I can't see. We're getting into Helen Keller territory where you're muted and we can't see you. So, and Martin, how about you? Do you have anything that you'd like to share? Your voice in the room. There we go.
Yeah, no, I just thought there was a comment made about that your coach should probably not be the one doing your demo, to keep some objectivity there so that you're not pinned into one certain style. I thought that was a really good comment, very helpful.
It's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's also, you know, I think it's also not a bad thing, both in your process, just in your process, to talk to a couple of demo producers and get a sense of different processes and get a sense of how you feel with different people. And also the real thing that I love about that idea is that in all of this, my dears, no matter who who you train with, who you have as an agent, who you work with as a demo producer, who you work with as clients, we are in the driver's seat. So you have that power. So to understand that that's different than, I'm making a demo, okay, anything you say. You know, obviously you go to somebody, and when you make a choice, respect them, and then if there's something not sitting in your craw, you know, figure out if it's someone that you can have a discussion with, right? How does that feel? So it's good.
Which is why researching is so important. You know, research who you work with, compare them to everybody else, and see how you feel about all their stuff, instead of just committing.
Yeah. And, you know, and also we get that making a demo is a big commitment and the next step. And, you know, and also it can be your first demo. It's like having a first boyfriend. You learn stuff from sometimes it works out that, you know, that's the one, and sometimes it's, you just learn from stuff and you move on, and you pay again. So, you know, trust that it could go either way. Ideally, you want to, you know, date a little bit. So that's a great thing. All right, my dears. So yes, this is recorded, and we will, if anyone who's signed up will be we'll get a copy of this. We do it a couple times a year, usually. Yeah. And we're really great work, everybody. Lovely to see how you're taking it all in, and really look forward to hearing from you, and always here to help in whatever way that you need. So,
and thank you guys so much. Seriously. I mean, it's getting the feedback like this, I know, is not easy, as I've been there. And so we really appreciate you guys putting yourself out there and really taking it, because I know it can be hard to hear. So we really appreciate it.
And that says a lot about, you know, it says a lot about you, which is awesome, that you're not in the shadows on your own. You're reaching out and looking for other opinions and trying to really like make sure that your stuff is dialed in and from all sides, you know. Right. So it's awesome. So it's just,
everyone's going to
very
have
highly to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's going to have an opinion, and the one that you ultimately trust is yours.
Yeah. Just feel what rings true.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you, Brittany and Ryan.
Thank you guys so much.
Love to meet you and see you again, and we look forward to more. Talk to you.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.